Welcome, everybody. The Friday edition of Talk Back, and it's brought to you this morning by Western States Cat, where professionals and do-it-yourselfers alike go for professional advice. Go Grizz. Also brought to you by Bulls Eyewear, with Missoula's only certified master optician on South Reserve in the old R.P. Ellis location. Transport Equipment, your headquarters for RV service, maintenance, and repair. Selway Armory on Stockyard Road, Montana's premier firearms dealer. Diggett Excavating, where they bring 30 years of excellence to every job. Call 214-4292. And by Ponderosa Dental, just off Reserve on 3rd. When you think of a great smile, think of Ponderosa Dental, proud corporate partner of Grizzly Athletics. Okay, welcome to the Friday edition of Talkback. It's 1 hour, and we traditionally start out with a visit from the County Attorney's Office. Our Chief Deputy County Attorney Jason Marks joining us this morning. Jason, how's it going? Whoops. Let's get the right one.
You got to actually open the phone line.
There we go. It's Friday, and it's Jason Marks. Good morning, Jason. How are you?
Good. Have you guys had enough coffee there?
Cut Peter some slack, because Friday is his Monday. Like, this is the down day of the week. He loves Mondays. Fridays are harder.
Yeah, it's really difficult because, you know what we say in radio, Jason, here it is Friday, only 2 more working days this week. So.
Oh, there you go.
So what's going on at the county attorney's office, sir?
Well, we had the kind of short week coming off the 3-day weekend, and I'd say fairly average in terms of new criminal filings. We had 10 this week, including some DUI-related matters coming off of the holiday weekend.
Yeah, and according to Travis Welsh, there were no felony DUIs, which was kind of a good deal.
Well, but Travis only represents the city.
Right.
Yeah, we did actually have a couple that came from Highway Patrol in the county. But no, I would actually say in terms of that sort of thing, this year was certainly probably better than past years have been.
So I don't know if you have too many details, but I understand there's an interesting case out of Oregon, someone that was caught here that's currently in prison that might be going back. Do you know any details about what's going on there?
I know vaguely. I think what you're talking about there was a young man arrested here, transient essentially, that had absconded from parole in Oregon. He's was supposed to have registered as a sex offender, although since he absconded from parole, I think for obvious reasons, he didn't stop by local law enforcement to check in. But my anticipation is that he will be extradited back to Oregon to back to the prison there.
All right. Wow. So when it comes to the week other than DUI, is anything keeping you particularly busy?
Not particularly. We just, I'd say, kind of have business as usual around here.
Cool. All right. So any special message you want to pass along to folks from the county attorney's office as to, behave yourself or...
Always, Peter, always.
Brush your teeth 3 times.
We would really like less business.
All right. Well, there you go.
We'll see how that goes.
All right. Well, Jason, thanks so much. You guys have a good weekend.
Here's hoping you lose your job eventually.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. Work himself right out of a job. That's all right. So we thank Jason Marks. We appreciate that. All right. Now you, what? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's we're running up here pretty close to the top of the hour.
Let's do this.
Thought we'd just give a quick shout out to all those small business owners out there. If you have an established business in the Missoula area, you are pre-qualified for a small business loan, up to $250,000.
Wait. My spider sense is telling me it's Lendio.
That's right.
Thank you.
It's Lendio.
I'm here all week.
Lendio works with over 75 lenders so they can help you get the best terms available for your small business. No matter what kind of business you've got, whether it's a lawn mowing business or an ice cream parlor, or you want to start a rental store because we don't have one anymore, Lendio can probably get you the money you need. Lendio is trusted by thousands of businesses just like yours. If you've been in business for at least 6 months and have established revenue, go to Lendio.com to get better loan options for your business.
That takes care of my business. I don't have any established revenue.
Lendio.com.
All right.
That number, by the way, is 1-800-589-LEND, or just visit Lendio.com.
There you go. All right. So we may as well take our first break. And I do know that you have been working and I mean, folks, you do not know all that has gone into the story that John just published this morning regarding what's going on in state government. We will share that with you when we come back. And we'd love to have your phone calls and your response to the story, because you need to go on to our website, newstalkkgvo.com. Use your new KGVO app if you want, and look at it, because it is a lengthy story and it is highly documented. So we're going to come right back with more in a moment. As a matter of fact, we'll fly back in just a moment.
By the way, the title of the story, Governor Bullock brought Meg O'Leary on Paul McCartney trip. Although First Lady was invited, state plane use questioned. It is a big story and contains probably like 5 or 6 little baby stories inside of it.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to come right back. Hey, we are on Talkback, and 721-1290 is our number. That's John King over there. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Peter.
We have a caller already.
We do have a caller.
Let's get on the phone and say good morning to Greg. Good morning, Greg.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, not too much. I heard your story today, and I thought I'd call in.
Okay.
Yeah, so tell us what's going on.
Well, you got quite a story up there talking about Meg O'Leary and Steve Bullock using the state plane in kind of questionable ways, and you've done a great job getting that there. And I thought I'd mention to people that this story has been kind of circulating around for probably about 9 months now, and it's glad to see that we're getting some more documentation on it.
Well, I do know that other news agencies have been nibbling around the edges on this for quite some time.
Well,
Yeah, you do.
There's quite a few different stories here. Like, one is the use of the state plane, which KGVO has covered before. I mean, legislators have called out. The governor's even paid back the state for a couple of flights, right? So that story has been around for a while. But for the longest time, we didn't have a plane record of who was actually on the plane with Governor Bullock, sometimes without Governor Bullock. And what I've been able to uncover, I was able to get a hold of some state documents that show who was on the plane. And by far as Bullock's cabinet goes, not concerning security detail or spokespeople, things like that, by far the most frequent flyer of Bullock's cabinet is our Department of Commerce Director, Meg O'Leary, with something like 56 flights, with the next highest being less than half of that. If you give an idea, Pam Busey has only 10 flights on
Secretary
the state
of Labor, right?
Secretary of Labor and Industry, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little strange. But then to find out that some of the flights that she was on with the governor were to concerts, like the one here in Missoula, the Paul McCartney concert. By the way, there's a lot more information about that. First of all, Meg O'Leary wasn't even invited to the concert. Bullock's wife was, the First Lady was. I've got a copy of the invitation. Got a lot of information from them about what happened at that party and what was going on. It doesn't sound like any kind of business meeting. It sounds like what you would expect to do at a Paul McCartney concert, which is to sit back and enjoy the show. So anyway, Greg, I understand you've been working on stories yourself kind of related to this.
Yeah, I have a website called BigSkyWords.com, and I've been writing on that for 3 years, and we've been reporting on this Bullock kind of scandal story ever since Angela McLean left her position as lieutenant governor. And I got several emails from people telling me that there was a lot more to this story than is being reported, so we started digging around into it, but couldn't really find any serious documentation until you really dug up those airline records. Back in July was the first time when you reported on the Paul McCartney concert, and now in September you've got information on both of them going to the Kentucky Derby together, for instance. And you do a great job showing how, even with the Paul McCartney concert, this kind of what I consider to be a trumped-up story about official state business before the concert. We know that's not the case because Bullock landed the plane an hour before the concert started, and besides that, he was at this area for a meeting that was, 15 minutes away in Grand Creek, where you wouldn't have enough time to get to the concert if you're doing a serious meeting.
The other thing, too, I don't know if you actually clicked on the link. So the story has quite a few links. At the very bottom of the piece, there is a link that shows you the complete records. You can see whoever flew. You can see where I got my information. Maybe you can show that I made a mistake. It's possible. I thought it was valuable to put it out publicly. But here's the thing that's interesting. When state legislator Brad Sheeta first asked for flight logs from the governor's office, he was given one that was completely redacted. It did not include who flew with the governor.
Wow.
And that raised my suspicions. After I saw that, I had to find out what was going on.
How did you find the full record?
I can't tell you.
Okay. Okay.
I promised.
Okay.
So
All right.
anyway,
So it's a confidential source.
it's a confidential source, but it's now
Okay.
public.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so you said you were getting calls from people, Greg?
Yeah, that's how the main information first got out about the Paul McCartney concert and the Kentucky Derby. I got a call out of the blue in June from a woman on a restricted phone number who told me about both of those incidences, and I wrote about them on my website, and she said what I had written before about some funny business might be true. It probably is true. She said it was. She said there had also been some firings over this at the Department of Commerce. I don't know. I haven't been able to find anything on that. I wasn't able to find anything on the plane records, but then you sure did, and that backs up this woman who called me saying both about the Paul McCartney concert and this Kentucky Derby trip.
So this woman called you and was saying that people had been fired over the plane use?
Well, it's not really over the plane loose, and that's where we're getting back to even the Lieutenant Governor Angela McLean fiasco that happened last December of why she was possibly fired. Because from what I heard and what people both emailed me and called me saying is that there was some kind of funny business going on with the governor and Meg O'Leary, and people found out about it, and people lost their jobs because of it.
But you don't have any names.
I don't have any names on that or anything backing up, and nobody that talks to me wants to come out and put their name on this.
Well, if they want to call 721-1290, we'll take all calls. My story doesn't really talk about whatever funny business, quote unquote, might have been going on, but it does make a few recommendations. After seeing what happened with the Paul McCartney concert, by the way, that's just one day, right? One flight among hundreds of flights over the past 4 years. That is an example, to me at least, that we need a little bit more transparency in the way that we manage our state resources when it comes to our officials. So consider this for a moment. If you're a governor or if you're a legislator, governors have this responsibility to the public, and state legislators do, to treasure and take care of the people's money and trust, right? So if you're using the people's money and trust to fly to concerts for fun, it seems to me an unacceptable way to expend those resources. And the only way to counteract that is to have a transparent schedule of where the governor is, or an explanation for each flight log of why you're doing it. By the way, this isn't something crazy. Every time we do a community viewpoint segment on public radio,
right,
or on the public airwaves, I have to log who was on my show, what the topic was, and why it was relevant to Missoula.
And that's an FCC requirement.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a transparency thing. And it's public access, by the way, if you want to go and check out all the stuff we've played over the past. It seems to me we should hold our elected officials to the same standard. Now, if you happen to be a legislator, right, I've talked to many of them. They have to drive on their own gas money sometimes. I think that they can get a certain kind of stipend from the state, but you got to go through the hassle of it.
Right.
To go to Helena for the legislative session, which I think we can all agree the legislative session is state business. They don't get to fly the state plane to Helena.
And you know what's interesting is with all the commercials that I've been hearing about Greg Gianforte, he's an out-of-state guy living in a mansion, and he won't let people fish. I said, Greg Gianforte lives in a very large, nice house, but the governor lives in a mansion. It's called the governor's mansion. So if anybody's living in a mansion, it would be the governor. I mean, come on. That just sounds a little weird to me.
Hey, Greg, thanks so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Take care, man. All right, thanks for the call. 721-1290 is our number. Did you ever? That just hit me the other day. As a matter of fact, when I was out at Missoula College and the Governor Bullock was there and he had his entourage, I didn't see Ms. O'Leary. I did see several other folks there from state government, from the Bureau of Labor and Industry. One of the folks was working there. And it just hit me. That's the governor, and he lives in the governor's mansion. so
well, it is the governor's.
It's kind of like throwing stones, when you live in a glass house.
It's kind of like the Montana State Mansion, right? It's our mansion.
Yeah,
we built it,
but it's called.
It's for the governor.
What is it called?
Okay, you're right.
It's called the governor's mansion. So anyway, and he doesn't pay anything for it. He gets to live there free.
Well, he apparently doesn't pay for his travel either.
Anyway, we're going to take a break. 721-1290, 1-800-568-5309. If there's something about, you need to go look at the story and look at all the sources. John has worked for weeks on this story. It's not just something he dreamed up.
By the way, this Kentucky Derby photos, imagine going to the internet and looking at every photo of every person at the Kentucky Derby.
And you did that.
Until I found some.
Yeah, so there you go.
I'm still trying to find photos of whatever the heck happened in Puerto Rico. And by the way, through all this, I have recorded my phone calls to Governor Bullock's office asking questions on this.
Right.
Okay, here's a quick shout. I'm just upset. Here's my venting my rage because I know what's going to happen. If I ever get a call back from them, it's going to be an upset one at this point, right? But part of the reason why that will probably be is because despite my calls to a state employee who I pay for with my tax money, the communications office will not call me back. That's their job, right, to speak with the press. So either they're making some executive decision that we're not considered the press for some reason.
Well, the reason is because we work for a radio station that carries programming like Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity, which is, quote, conservative radio, and these folks are obviously not conservatives. They don't want to be tied in any way to a conservative station, even though we do have a valid news program as part of our programming. You know, it's not political. It's just news.
Well, and beyond that, I mean,
anyway.
like Montana Morning and Talkback, they're not really conservative. Anybody can come on and talk. Nick Davis did a fine job of it just yesterday. Actually, Greg Strandberg, who was just on, is also run as a Democrat in Missoula. I mean, Ellie Hill was on yesterday. It's not impossible to have your voice heard if you want to take ownership of the freedom of speech and call 721-1290, which you as well can do.
Okay, we're overdue for a break. We're going to come right back. Stay with us. Love to hear from you. All four lines open, 721-1290. Hey, we're back on Talkback. 721-1290 is the number. It is Friday. It's our 1 hour edition. John King over there. I'm Peter Christian. We got Tim on the line. Let's go right to the phone. Tim, good morning, and thanks for holding, sir.
Great. Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet. What's up?
You know, recently we received a postcard from the city stating that we're going to be charged $9 every quarter for surface water drainage.
Yeah, the groundwater thing, right, yeah.
Right. So it's kind of amazed me because we have to pay $9, and somebody like the Lambros people who own the mall, who have 1,000 times more surface than our little 50 by 100 lot, only has to pay $23.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, that'd be something to look into, yeah.
I think they should be charged by the square foot of the lot.
Now, is it possible that perhaps they put in some kind of mediation for their runoff?
I don't have a storm drain in front of my house. All I have is a gutter or a street or curb. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't even have that. And you know what may be happening here, Tim? And I'm going to look into this today and find out. Okay. I'm putting it on my Palm Pilot. I'm writing it on my hand. Anyway, but what may be happening here, what may be happening here is that I believe that I'm not sure exactly how many stores are in Southgate Mall. There's a lot, and they come and they go. But I wonder if each one of those stores isn't being charged the $26 or the $23.
No, it's property owners.
The property owners, okay.
Right. So they're only paying $23 a quarter.
Okay.
How did you find that? How did you find that out?
It says the malls, because all those people rent in there. They're not property owners.
No. I just wondered, how did you find out the 23? I'm sorry, I just didn't read.
Well, that's what it said on the notice.
It came on the postcard from the city.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, it said $9 for individual homeowners and $23 for commercial business.
I know I'm skeptical about lots of stuff. I guess it's part of just my nature, but why the storm drain thing now? It just seems to me like we're trying to fill up empty pockets after this whole water deal.
They have to pay for that $8 million work that they're going to do at Eco Compost when they buy it for $1.2 million.
So you're thinking it's basically set up to make sure there's money there for that?
Well, where else are they going to get $9 million to go in and rent and redo Eco Compost?
From the same magic unicorns that provided it for the water system.
I don't understand why we're buying a private business to begin with if we're the city.
Well, we just did that. Are you kidding?
Well, we did with the water company.
We just did it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but where's the eminent domain for Eco Compost?
Well,
I mean, it's just a bunch of dead leaves and trees.
So here's my call. Here, I actually have called on this, whether or not there is an eminent domain. I called the city. Some city officials said there's no eminent domain plan for Eco Compost. Eco Compost apparently has been in talks to sell to the city, but who knows?
And,
Yeah, but what do we need it for?
Well,
Is the
you got to
question.
you have to admit, first of all, that eco compost is right across the river from the sewage treatment plant, so it would be probably a good teaming up thing to get those two entities working together. But I don't know if it's necessary to
And
to buy it.
remember all the complaints
if you
from the
follow
smell.
that line of thought, then Walmart's right across the street too. Why not buy Walmart?
True enough. True enough. All right.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. All right, let's move along and say good morning to Tyler. Hey, Tyler, what's up?
Hey guys, kind of a lot's changed since Monday, huh?
Yeah, it's been a week, huh?
Yeah, we had a Russian jet fly within 10 feet from a Air Force bomber. I think it was Air Force bomber. And then North Korea launched a nuclear weapon last night or yesterday. That was cool.
Yeah, and so and $1.2 billion in foreign cash.
Yeah,
went to Iran.
Now, another $33 million in secret funds being transferred over there too.
Yeah, and what interested me was that in the story that you put on, John,
The Zinke story.
Yeah, the Zinke story was that it was from like a leftover interest payment for a failed arms deal back in the 70s.
Yeah,
what?
1979, there was an arms deal with Iran. Iran had a revolution.
Right.
Yeah. So we kept the money from the arms deal and never gave them the weapons because you don't want to give weapons to dictators.
They had 444 of our people held hostage.
Yeah, there's a lot to this.
So
anyway. the Obama administration, out of the goodness of its heart, feels that these dictators and terrorists deserve these weapons or this money.
Now, is that
and
the
we're
money?
paying them back.
Well, hold on. Is that the money with interest?
Yeah.
Are you
With
kidding me?
Interest. This is just interest.
They're paying them interest? Are you out of your mind? Oh my gosh!
But the part that I thought was interesting about this was the story I wrote with Zinke. Basically, he says we're going to see more aggressive behavior from North Korea, Russia, and China. So that's 2 out of 3
of the evil empire. Yeah.
Within a week, 2 out of 3 of them.
Yeah, I hear you.
Here's an interesting fact, though: is if that money was in our coffers since the 70s, it would have been digitized by now, and we would have had a digital payment to Iran for that interest payment instead of a cash payment on pallet.
And it had to be in foreign currency, not U.S. dollars.
Yeah. To get around the sanctions, even Obama admitted to that. He said it in a press conference. He said, well, due to our sanctions, we had to do it this way in order to provide the money to them without, crushing our own sanctions. So.
Well, hey, thanks for the call, Tyler.
Crazy.
I hope next week goes better for you.
Thanks a lot.
And us.
Tell you what, we have Susan and Josephine both on, and we are going to come right back after this quick timeout. Hey, we're back. This is Talk Back, 721-1290. Forgive my outburst there a second ago. And not only we pay them back, we paid them back with interest. Okay. Yeah. Well, you took 444 people of our American citizens hostage in Tehran. Okay, and we're going to give you that.
Not to say anything about the funding of bombing of civilians.
All right. Well, let's get Susan. Calm me down, Susan. What's on your mind?
We are up on the 15th anniversary of September 11th.
Yes, ma'am.
And for our young people that have given their lives and continue to sacrifice in the military to keep us safe, and for our police and our firefighters and our EMTs that routinely keep vigilance over bad guys and that fight terrorism. We dedicate the Never Forget service every year. And I apologize for my stupid voice. My ninth surgery didn't work.
You sound just fine. Just go right ahead.
I sound yucky. But anyway, Allie Harrison was the first to do the Never Forget service on September 11th, 2002.
Okay.
She was a freshman I believe she was a freshman or a sophomore at the University of Montana. Darling young woman. And she was a friend of mine through the College Republicans. And she and the College Republicans organized a beautiful, beautiful service at the University of Montana on the rotunda with American flags. And it was just so beautiful and moving. And she did that all the way through her college career.
Right.
And when she graduated, the United Veterans Council voted to continue doing it because she went on with her life, and we felt that it was important to never forget. So the service is going to be this year, instead of at 7 o'clock at night, because it's on Sunday, it's going to be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Perfect.
After church, it's going to be at Rose Park, and we have bagpipers that are going to lead the honor and color guards. And we start at the Korean War Memorial and slow walk up to the Vietnam Memorial. And the service begins at 2. And prior to that, the Missoula Exchange Club is going to put out, with the help of the United Veterans Council, more than 4,000 American flags. And that is to not only represent the 2,896 men, women, and children that were killed on September 11th, 2001, but unfortunately, the victims of terrorism around the world that have occurred before and after September 11th. And this is a very solemn day. Our world changed. I flew back from Harborview yesterday, and I was wearing my September 11th vest that I will wear on Sunday, and everybody was asking me why I was wearing it, and when I said because Sunday is September 11th, everybody kind of looked at me stunned like, oh, my God.
That's right, yeah.
A lot of people have forgotten.
Yeah. Well, let's not do that. Hey, Susan.
So let's not do it, and please come Sunday, September 11th, this Sunday, 2 p.m., Rose Park. Be there or be square.
All right.
Thank you.
You take care of yourself, Susan. All right. Thanks so much. Josephine, you're on Talkback. Hi.
Hi, Peter. I guess Susan just kind of, I wouldn't say stole my thunder, but I would. That's what I would. Or can you hear me?
Yeah, we're listening.
We're listening in rapt attention.
We are taking your thunder.
Yes.
That's what I was calling about. Was wondering if there was any memorials or anything about 9/11. I just remember that day. We were still living in California at that time. We owned property in Montana, but we still were living in California. And it was such a somber day that day. I begged my husband not to go to work that day because he was working for IBM at the time. And he says, no, I got to go. And I called my daughter, and I told her, I said, honey, don't send the kids to school. She says, why? I said, turn the TV on. Don't send the kids to school. At the time they were small. They were still in school age.
Much better learning experience right there watching what happened.
And we were living in a motorhome up in the canyon in California. And I went there, and my car was just about on empty. I said, I've got to go get the car full of gas, and I got to go get some groceries or something for at least 2 or 3 days. And the cars were lined up to get gas in the grocery store. It was unbelievable. My granddaughter was saying, see, Grandma, this is what they're doing.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
People were prepping, yeah.
And anyway, it was such a day. My son was here in Montana. He was at the University of Montana. And he called also and said, Mom, you guys stay away from crowded places.
Oh.
And I said, don't worry, honey, we will.
All right. Well, Josephine, thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
And I hope you can be there on Sunday afternoon at 2, okay?
Thank you. And anyway, I hope that there's more. We'll never forget.
You got it. Take care. We're going to take a little break. Brian, we're going to ask you to hang on just a minute. We have 3 lines open, 721-1290. Lots of different attacks going here, different directions we've been talking about. So we'll be right back. What's on your mind? It's kind of open phones this morning. Okay, we are back on Talkback. 721-1290 is our number, 1-800-568-5309. And so we just heard from Gary Johnson a minute ago, of course, a Libertarian candidate, and he actually appeared on MSNBC recently. And so John wanted me to share this with you folks, so let's listen to that right now.
What would you do if you were elected about Aleppo?
About?
Aleppo.
And what is Aleppo?
You're kidding.
No.
Aleppo is in Syria. It's the epicenter of the refugee crisis.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Well, with regard to Syria,
okay, so there you go. Yeah.
Sorry, I just heard that Johnson Weld ad during the break, and man, I mean, you kind of maybe think there's an option there, and then you hear something like that, like you don't know the capital city of the most troubled region of the world at this point. It just seems a little bit vacant.
All right. Let's get to the phones. Brian, you're on Talkback. Go ahead.
Good morning. I wanted 2 things to say.
Sure.
One is that a long time ago, I remember when John first came on the air, I wasn't sure I was going to do, and I called you after the program and told you what a great job he was doing and how much he'd improved. And he comes up with the story that he's got today. I mean, this is just a double wow.
Yeah. John has become quite a journalist, I'll tell you.
You know, it's just I just want to say thank you for what you're doing. And the other part of it is that I had to say is that when they had the hostages that Iran had back in 79 and through there, what happened is that I would think that those people would have probably been entitled to the $400 million if they could have sued Iran, and I would have, that would be a more effective way to use the money than to give it to a terrorist state.
I would have to agree wholeheartedly. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. And hold on, I'm just gonna heap some more praise on you. Okay, so if you want to get red, if you want to,
I'm gonna shame myself after. So
well, anyway, not only has John worked for weeks on this particular story, which I think is, it's a very credible, highly cataloged story with all sorts of sources. But anyway, he's also the producer of this program of Talkback. He's the one that arranges all the guests and arranges all the candidate forums. He's the one who does a lot of the news that you hear every day. I do half. John does half. We also have some other folks who do. He also, because he produces this show, we submitted this show to the Montana Broadcasters Association as Commercial Program of the Year, and he won. So, I mean, doesn't get much better than that.
But he shall never run for president because I think I just said less than 5 minutes ago how dumb I thought Gary Johnson was, and then I said the capital city of Syria. I caught myself in my brain that Damascus is the capital city.
Damascus. Yeah.
But Aleppo is, I think, the most populated city.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's get back to the phones. All right, Pat, you're on Talkback. Thanks for holding.
Yes, I just wanted to comment on the governor's trips.
Yeah, go right ahead.
When did it become a state business to go to a concert or to the Kentucky Derby?
Now, I don't have any evidence that he flew to the Kentucky Derby on the state plane. In fact, I have contrary evidence that the plane was here in the state doing test flights and some other things. However, right before the Kentucky Derby on I think it was the 29th of April, and I don't think that, I know that. On the 29th of April, the plane flew into Missoula and then left before 10:45 or 10:47 that morning. So we're talking about the plane was here for a few hours in the early morning. When do flights leave? In the early morning, usually. It seems to me that it's possible that there was a flight here to catch a connecting flight, but I have no idea. And the other thing that's interesting is that although the flight records look complete, I've been able to deduce that they are not complete. Whatever the public is seeing, even with what I've revealed, is not everything. Because the flight went back from Missoula to Helena. And I have other ways to check flights, including There's some national services you can pay for to get information about where the plane is flying. And so we don't have a complete log of how often the plane is used. There was a recent story by journalist Mike Dennison, who used to work with the Missoulian until they decided to get rid of all of their talented. Well, not that there's no talent at the Missoulian, but their long-standing Helena staff. Okay,
political reporters, right?
Thank you. Sorry. My apologies to everybody that's talented at the Missoulian, and there are lots of you. But that story was rating how often Governor Bullock flew versus Governor Schweitzer.
Right.
And I honestly don't think that the information that's there, because it looks like he has obtained some similar information to what I have, that information I don't believe is complete enough to tell you the answer of who flew more.
Well, I think it's time that we sell the state plane. They become citizens who have to take commercial flights the same as the rest of us. And if it's not official business, they pay for the ticket.
All right. Well, thanks for the call, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate it. All right, let's move along. Tyler's back. Hi, Tyler. What's up?
Hi, guys. Thanks for letting me back on. I remembered a story that I wanted to share with you guys about it. It was a time when I was stationed in Germany. We had a split squadron. Half of our squadron was stationed in Afghanistan. And because of my job, I was stationed in Germany. And I had to go to Afghanistan for a mission that was supposed to take 2 weeks. And they put us on military transport planes and got us over there. It took me 5 days to get from Germany to Afghanistan. I got stranded in Iraq, and I got stranded in Bucharest. And when I got there, I ended up doing the job in 24 hours and was back on a plane, and it took me another 3 days to get back to Germany.
Good heavens.
When I got back to Germany, the travel lady that I had to check back in with, because everything was done on a government card, even though it was all paid for by the government and flown by the government on government planes, when I checked back in with her, she goes, "Okay, I'm going to give you this paperwork, and you can never, ever, ever, ever throw it away." And I said, "You mean 7 years, right? Because that's all the IRS wants to see." And she goes, "No, ever." She goes, "Every time you fly, it's always, as a matter of public record, we have to keep it, the records. And because these are the originals, you have to keep these forever, just in case anybody ever wants to know where you flew, when you did what you did." That's how they treat servicemen in the military. Okay? I have to keep paperwork for one travel forever. And I had it. It's still in my paperwork. So this whole thing with government, officials being treated differently than the peons that work for them, it's absolutely true. So keep that in mind.
All right, Tyler.
Thanks for the call, Tyler.
Thanks for the call, man. And Catherine and Emmett, we're going to get you both on right after this 1 minute timeout. Stay with us. Okay, we're back on Talkback 721-1290. We have a Facebook comment. Go.
Yeah, a couple. I asked on Facebook, there's lots of flying, but not a lot of transparency. Should Steve Bullock and Meg O'Leary pay back taxpayers for using the state plane for a concert? I actually think yes. But so do some other people. Ronald said yes, plus fuel, pilots, etc. And what he's referring to here is the governor has paid back for some time, but he hasn't included some extra costs, including the time for the pilot, time for the fuel, etc. Brian says, but didn't you hear that the other guy wanted the state to redirect an extra trail that was illegally cutting across and damaging his land, which they did, and everybody was happy? Apparently, this is Bullock's only reason he has to win. As far as the plane goes, to quote Top Gun, quote, "Maverick, you just did an incredibly brave thing. What you should have done was land your plane. You don't own that plane. The taxpayers do. Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash. You've been busted." End quote.
All right. Wow, well said. Catherine, you're on Talkback. Go ahead.
Okay, two questions. Isn't there a lawsuit against Iran wending its way through the court system by the families of Iranian hostages and the status of that? Do you know anything about that?
I believe there is, and I don't know the status.
Okay. Two, also, how many American citizens are being held by Iran at this time? I seem to remember that right after Obama paid that cash to Iran, they arrested another American citizen for some reason or another.
Right.
And they're holding him.
Exactly.
Why would you stop?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So all you're doing is just saying, "Oh, okay, open season."
There's money walking over there with an American passport.
Yeah.
I think I'll pick it up.
All right, Catherine.
That's right.
Thanks for the call. Hold on just a minute. Stand by. Emmett, you're up next. Hi.
Oh, thanks for taking my call. Well, about Gary Johnson, a couple of things. One, I didn't know Aleppo, was the capital of...
I thought it was one of the Marx brothers.
You're also not running for president.
Yes, definitely. Also, another thing, on Alex Jones, about a couple of weeks ago, Alex Jones did a segment on Gary Johnson and played some other clips by him. Very disturbing. He really, Scheider was angry with Alex Jones or someone for using the term illegal immigrant. He should have said undocumented resident, and was very angry, and then really went off on the Second Amendment. Was very much against Second Amendment rights by saying if you have a round rifle or a 6-round shotgun or whatever, it's got to be banned. And he did something about not even knowing, the caliber of it. So he's not a libertarian. He's just, a very totalitarian Democrat like the rest of it. I mean, Alex Jones had met him. Alex Jones got a creepy feeling about him because he was in Alex Jones' studio, so I thought I might share that.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate the call. All right. I won't go there. Marilyn, you're on Talkback. Hi.
Okay. For months and months and months and months, I've been hearing this rumor about why Steve Bullock's lieutenant generals have left, and that there was...
Lieutenant Governor left, yes.
Lieutenant Governor, okay. That there was sex involved, and he was caught having sex with somebody other than his wife, and nobody wants to say this. So,
well, here's the thing, Marilyn. You could say it all you want, but unless there's some kind of evidence, what do you do?
Okay, another thing along that line. If this was a Republican governor and this rumor was out there, you know that the liberal Democrat, Missoulian, or whatever newspaper media would be hell-bent on getting to the bottom of this and getting that governor out pronto, causing him to resign.
You are probably right.
Yeah, so that's just, another example of the bias of the liberal media and the cover-up and, how the rest of us don't dare to say what's on our mind, what we're hearing, the rumors that are out there, and,
Well, but we had a president who perhaps set new levels of chicanery and things like that.
And because the people who vote Democrat have no character themselves, they continue to allow this stuff to happen. No principles, no values. They're totally immoral. And they,
you can't say that.
I think you're casting
a
pretty broad net there, Marilyn. I really do.
Hey,
but some of your callers that just called in this morning.
Huh?
Some of the people that called in this morning were Democrats that were critical of the state plane use.
Maybe those are the ones that won't go ahead and vote for Hillary Clinton.
Okay, but
maybe
you just said all.
Stay home.
It's hard to walk back from all.
Well, pretty much.
All right.
Obama won 2 times, and look at what he's done to the country.
All right, Marilyn. Thanks. Appreciate the call. All right. Yeah, it's difficult to throw everybody into a gigantic basket.
Actually, it's too easy.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's too simplified. Yeah. Anyway, we got some more comments on Facebook.
Okay,
we have time.
We have 2 minutes. Go.
All right. Joy says that he needs to be voted out. Greg says, in regards to the governor's schedule, wouldn't you want it to be public? You're running for re-election. If people know where you'll be, they can come and show their support. Bullock was just doing a Missoula College dedication yesterday.
I was there,
but hardly anyone was there. I don't know. I wasn't there.
I was there.
Was there a lot of people? Or
there was. Well, you got to remember it's a construction site. Okay, and the governor did speak. They actually had a podium that they brought in from the university. No microphones, of course, because you got to remember it's a construction site,
sure.
and so all during his speeches, beep beep beep.
Oh,
there's
he
all
cursing at us?
No. It's all sorts of. It's just at you. No. Anyway, there's all sorts of construction. I mean, they're not stopping construction so the governor can talk about
stuff. So it was a little bit of a difficult speech to make.
Yeah, was it active? And not only that, we all had to wear hard hats and orange vests and all that kind of stuff.
Who didn't get the memo? Like, you're driving a truck, you're like, oh, maybe we should stop right now. What are these people in suits doing?
As a matter of fact, right in the middle of the governor's final comments, one of these huge, double-decker trucks rolled up right behind where we were standing and started backing up, and there was this loud beep, beep, beep. It was like, oh, okay. So, and the governor said, I think it's time to call this off now.
Wow.
We're done. You can't hear me anyway.
Let me finish this comment here.
Go ahead.
He says, with a public schedule, each appearance could be a re-election rally. Not sure why they're not doing that. Gloria says, great job. I appreciate truth in reporting.
Okay, so there you go. And we are done for the week. So we have Health Talk starting again next Monday. And we hope you'll join us for that. And we have
Rob Nadelson.
Rob Nadelson. All right, that's going to be excellent. We always love it when Rob Nadelson from the Independence Institute is going to be on with us. Also, Grizz Game coming up tomorrow at 3, pregame at 1. Go Grizz! And have yourself a wonderful and safe weekend. Please buckle those seatbelts.